Hey YouTube, this is Itchy, and I wanted to give you a quick update on some things that have been going on over at Fukushima. And there's been a little bit of misinformation that has been given out by TEPCO, and that was disproved today. Now, this is a video of the reactors from a couple of nights ago, and the ocean is actually behind the reactors here, and you can see a large amount of what appears to be smoke or steam that is coming out of the direction of reactor 2 and 3. And if you recall, 2 is the one who's been having problems with the temperature controls in the reactor pressure vessel, which if you go back and you search the news, you'll see that the containment was compromised, and that was known by the electric company that runs the site, TEPCO, and it was known by Prime Minister Kan, and it was also known by the NRC and our government all the way back in the beginning of April. And they've buried this story, and they keep pretending that everything is okay at these reactors, that they're in cold shutdown, and that is just complete bullshit. You cannot have cold shutdown of a cracked reactor vessel where the fuel has leaked out and is in the ground. Now, there may be some remnants of the fuel remaining in that reactor vessel. In fact, there was a endoscope that was done on reactor 2 about 4 weeks ago, and since then there has been a steady increase of one of the temperature gauges after they poked a hole in this reactor to look around. Now, if you look at videos of what that film showed, there were actual gamma rays being visualized on the film. They were not able to locate the fuel. There's obviously some kind of fuel in there that would be causing these gamma rays to occur. But now a few nights ago we have smoke and steam that are pouring out of it. This is not the only video that documents this. There's several on this guy's site where you can see there's been steam coming out of pipes. There's been steam coming out of the ground at night. These are not fog events. After watching these cameras for 10 months, I know the difference between fog that's rolling in and steam that's coming out of the ground. The problem is that steam is not just steam, it's radioactive steam. And uranium has a tendency to, once it starts reacting, and it doesn't need any special circumstances to start reacting, it can just bounce off other electrons and it spreads like a web. And if it starts at one reactor, it can spread to the pools. They've had problems cooling the pools lately. And TEPCO has been saying, well, they think that the temperature gauge might be broken because there's 2 other gauges in there and they seem to be okay. And yesterday a report came out saying that another temperature gauge that's in the containment vessel around that vessel is also reporting high. And a Washington blog came out today also saying that the temperature now, and the goal is to keep it under 80 degrees Celsius to maintain cold shutdown status. And what's actually happening, let me find my thing here. Where is it? Fukushima reactor temperature surpasses 752 degrees, more than 4 times maximum for cold shutdown. This was posted on a Washington blog yesterday. That's over 400 degrees Celsius. Now today, Fukushima Diary, who has been following the story since the get-go, he has had several people who are working on the Fukushima site that have been giving him information. He had a phone conversation with a nuclear worker and a former worker at the Fukushima site who said, in short, if the temperature goes up to 600 to 700 degrees Celsius, reactor 2 will explode. Now, considering that the fuel probably isn't even in that reactor, it's in the ground underneath, that in itself is really not as big of a concern. But what the concern is, any kind of fission that develops can infect the other reactors, the corium in the ground, and the spent fuel pools that are on site. And there's 6 of them, plus a common spent fuel pool that's in the ground. If this fission reaction starts occurring, This would be very, very bad. This is probably the worst thing that could possibly happen outside of a hydrovolcanic explosion. And the architect of Reactor 3 has been saying for months that that could happen any day because of the corium that's fissioning in the ground. Today, there was a report that came from Tohoku University saying that all the faults underneath the plant have been activated, and that one good shake on that site could cause the spent fuel pool to fall. But if these reactors and the corium and the spent fuel pools all start infecting each other, which could very well happen with how things are falling apart at that site. What we would have to do over here is do the same thing if one of our major cities was nuked and any of us lived downwind from that. And I'm going to enclose some links at the bottom. And this is not to scare people. This is to tell you what the government is not telling you, what TEPCO isn't telling you, what Japan isn't discussing, and that this could happen any day. And based on the earthquakes that are going on over there, on the cameras, the radioactive steam that's pouring out of the ground, the temperature that's rising in this reactor, and the fact that today TEPCO decided to come clean and say that xenon had been detected in the reactor 2 containment vessel. Xenon is a product of uranium fission, so that means that there is recriticalities that are going on. It doesn't say what the detection limits are. There's a possibility that this detection has been ongoing this whole time. We have fluctuations in the cesium levels in the last few days. They've been really high in Tokyo. Today, if you look at the weather maps, Fukushima is right here. Everything's blowing out to the ocean today, and that's what's forecasted for the next few days. And I checked a couple different weather sites to confirm this. So we go to our animation of the jet stream. And let me just pull this down a little bit so you can see dates. This would be Sunday. Here we go. This is today. So whatever's been released in the last 2 to 3 days at the plant is hitting right here now. And this looks like the pattern that it's going to be for the rest of this week. So we're talking everything from the southern coastal areas of Alaska and coastal areas of British Columbia. That includes Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, Northern California, all the way down to probably LA. These areas would have to shelter indoors for a period of 2 to 4 weeks. And that's not me saying that. That's what the civil defense research had indicated would have to happen in order to protect the health and welfare of our citizens if there was a nuclear attack. This is a nuclear attack that's been happening. But if we have some kind of fission event that infects the other pools at that site, the significance of this is going to go up substantially. And it needs to be taken very seriously. Now, I'll be posting updates if anything crazy happens. I will be sending out alerts to Orion and probably run something on the air about that. I'm also going to post my Facebook page where this is continually updated throughout the day. I have 6 other people and then some helping me post news and radiation reports and sickness reports and earthquakes and everything that could possibly be going on right now over there that could affect the radiation levels over here. It gets posted on this page and it's updated all day long. So if you're on Facebook, make sure to check this out and sign up for it. And other than that, monitor YouTube. I'm sure there'll be a few people that'll be posting in regards to the forecast that I've been doing. What it looks like is happening is all the areas that are along the edge of the jet stream that had been warned for potential fallout. People are recording high levels in those areas. Dutch Sense and Potter Blog recorded over 100 CPMs in the snowfall yesterday. Some of that is radon detection, but if it's radon, it should be coming out of the ground every time there's precipitation. there could be radon that's getting steamed out of the ground in Fukushima as well from the groundwater. So, it's an alert level. It's happening right now in St. Louis. That is moving into the areas of the Virginias today, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. If you're paying attention to this, that's great. But we have this closed loop of information, this closed loop of people that are paying attention to this. And what we really need to do is start posting this kind of stuff on other news sites, on weather sites, on mainstream news, not with the expectation that the mainstream is going to run any stories about this. But for the people who are going there, reading comments and posting, to draw their attention to this, because this is the biggest thing that has ever happened to humanity is going on right now. This is a shit hitting the fan, and it's been hitting the fan, and 90% of the people have no idea that's going on. And if this is some kind of shelter-in scenario, people need to be prepared for this, and that means stocking up on water, perishable, non-perishable food, diapers, medications. 2 to 4 weeks, you're not going to be able to leave your house if that thing goes. And I don't know what else to say. It's a mess. It's horrible. It's terrible. It's a travesty. It's the people that are paying attention to this are so distraught and so disturbed because it's not being reported, and it needs to be. This has got to be on the top of everyone's radar right now. It's that important. Share this around with everyone you know. Stay safe. I'll keep you updated.